Welcome to another episode of Streetpreneur Podcast, the podcast for innovative and creative entrepreneurs, small business owners, and startup companies. And today I have a very special guest today. They're in the construction business. They also into helping celebrities with real estate. They've been doing real estate for over, 12 years, since 2019? You guys have been in the real estate industry. Well,
over 20
years. Let me take that back. I got my numbers wrong. Y'all forgive me.
Yeah.
But they're very special in the real estate industry. Their names are very big. They're making a name for themselves and as well as helping celebrities and people who want to purchase homes, redevelop homes, buy and flip, everything that's involved with real estate. I'd like to welcome Construction Kings to the Streetpreneur Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you having us on, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and introduce yourselves. I know Kelley, Kelley Parker and Gene Johnson.
All right, my name is Kelley Parker. I go by KP the Builder. One half of the Construction Kings as a group, and like you just mentioned, that we've been doing real estate quite some time now, a couple decades combined time. We're originally from Central Florida, Mount Dora, right north of Orlando, and we've known each other quite a long time. So,
yep, my name is Gene Johnson. I go by Geno J, the Construction King. Been in real estate since 2007. Did everything in real estate from agent to wholesaler, now to development. And yes, we build a lot of stuff, man. We also teach other people how to start their real estate journey.
Okay, good deal. And as far as your journey began, I know you all grew up in two different areas. How do you two got together and decided, hey, we need to come together and do this real estate thing as a partnership?
Yeah.
How did that transition come? How do you all meet each other? Let's go
early
back there.
childhood, we really grew up really close.
Yeah.
Because we were raised pretty much on the same street.
Oh, okay.
And this is 40 years ago.
Yeah. Let me take that back. All right.
So, but we did. He went to high school up in Tennessee. And I continued high school down in Florida. And then, of course, we went to colleges and stuff. And then we rekindled our friendship, maybe about 8-9 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's when we started linking. I moved up here from Florida. He was already here. I'll let him tell you. But, yeah, it was about 8 years ago when we got back together.
All right. And what were you doing at that time, Geno?
Well, at that time, man, I was a realtor with Keller Williams, but I also had a wholesale company called Gateway Acquisitions. And back then, wholesale wasn't as mainstream as it is now. Like, everybody knows about wholesaling, but we've actually been doing wholesaling before it was popular. So he came up here and became a part of the wholesale company and was one of the success managers on the wholesale company side of things, and had his license also. Also, while I was with Keller Williams, simultaneously with the wholesale company, I was the #1 agent at Keller Williams Atlanta Partners from 2011 to like 2015 or 16. But I knew when I got my real estate license, I never wanted to be an agent. Like, I always wanted to be an investor. Mm-hmm. But when you come from where we come from, man, we don't have real estate knowledge or real estate literacy. Like, we just get in where we fit in. So getting my license was really a blessing in disguise because I got to learn laws, I got to learn networking, I got to learn contracts, I got to learn negotiation, and then the world just opened up because it built a lot of relationships that allowed me to transition into buying and flipping and transition into new construction.
Okay. What were some of the early on projects that you all invested in together?
Well, some of the earliest things we did, of course, like you stated, we had the wholesale company. Mm-hmm. So we kept a few of those properties when we were wholesaling. Mm-hmm. We eventually renovated a couple of them, but we didn't start our first new construction together until a couple years ago. But I've been project managing a lot of his projects early on when I first moved up here. That's how I learned the numbers game. Mm-hmm. We eventually started a renovation company together. He later started that new construction, and I still run the renovation company. So we've done multiple projects together early on, but as far as our names on the actual HUDs together was a few years ago with the new construction.
Okay. Which one do you find more profitable? Is it in the buy and flip situation, those deals, or the wholesale deals? Which one is more?
So they're all profitable, but again, it goes back to the market. Okay. So when I was wholesaling back in 2012, 2011, back then we was just coming out of the Great Recession, so deals were plentiful.
Okay.
Like back then, you can go to the auction, you can go to hubzoo.com, you can even wholesale HUD houses. And those were all low-hanging fruit. Over time, as the market got better, more people started investing in real estate, wholesale became a crowded market. So if you don't transition or figure out other avenues to make money, some lanes can dry up because what you're doing today may not work tomorrow.
That's true.
So I saw the writing on the wall with the wholesaling because we went from doing 20 deals a month to 10 deals a month to 7 deals a month with more spending double in marketing, triple in marketing. I knew it was time to make that transition. I already had a bunch of investors that had bought properties from me as a realtor. I started partnering with a lot of investors in terms of like building and flipping houses. And eventually I brought him in and he started partnering with me as well on some of these houses. But it's all profitable. You have to understand what the market is doing. Like right now, interest rates are high.
Right.
Now is probably the best time to buy a house. The reason is because you marry the house but date the rate. Because it's a lot of properties on the market that's been sitting on the market where you can go in there and negotiate in below asking price and get those properties. It's a lot of investors that got properties right now that they can't sell them because of the rates have been higher. So there's opportunity to buy right now. It's a buying season. Once rates go back down, I guarantee you property values are gonna go back up. So it's better to be buying when rates are higher because that's when you can create deals and opportunities.
You totally hear the opposite in media.
Yeah.
And it's a bad time to buy.
But look at Atlanta, man. Like over 23% of all the houses
Right.
purchased in Metro Atlanta were by hedge funds.
Okay.
They never gonna stop buying these houses, bro.
They run the media.
It's a long-term
So
game.
They just spreading propaganda.
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
much. A lot
long-term
of people
game.
in fear
Making people-
to
right,
make the
so
move.
they can
a lot
make
of people
them
want
rent.
a house right now, but they, like I said, too afraid to.
Exactly.
I think the interest rates are going to be really high. So, what is your opinion of that?
Imagine-
Other foreign investors buying up.
Imagine needing a car,
Right.
but only getting approved for a high interest rate loan.
True.
You're going to get that car. And when your credit get better, you're going to refinance.
Right.
Same thing with houses.
Okay.
If you need a house, now is the time to get it and refi at a lower rate when the rates
When
drop
the rates go back down.
because you need that now.
Yeah.
And when the rates drop, your interest rate gets better. The price your price that you'll be paying
down.
monthly goes down. That's why he said marry the house and date the rate, meaning
Right.
I'm in love with this house. I'm going to marry this house because this is where I want to live. So I'm going to lock it up now. But when my rates change, I'm getting a new rate, meaning it's temporary. All rates are temporary. So I'm going to refinance at a later date for a better rate.
Right. I got you. I like that strategy. Yeah, I like that strategy. As far as on the development side, how did you get started in development? So I know you said you got a group of investors together, and what do you just kind of walk us through the process of the development?
So when I first started fixing and flipping homes, back then it was a lot of carpet and paint rehabs. I actually was blessed because I was an agent for a lot of investors, and they were buying rental properties. They would buy properties from HUD, the auctions, and it was a lot of new construction for sale where you just had to go in there and do new carpet, new paint, HVAC units. So I got a chance to really grow from that. After that market started to kind of dry up, the next opportunities were like in dilapidated houses. So I started renovating dilapidated houses. Then it started going from that to additions, adding additions on houses. And once I did my first addition, I was like, man, it's like building a new house. Because we had to take the top off, we had to add to the foundation, we had to go up. And those houses are actually more work than new construction. I knew there were some things I didn't have in terms of evaluating land, in terms of, doing the foundation and the framing from the beginning. But after I got that, I'd already had experience with sheetrock and plumbing and putting in fixtures. So fast forward, even that market got tight because you start to have Zillow come in, and some of these iBuying companies started buying up all these houses. And so it left a shortage in terms of what was available for investors to buy and fix. So I kind of had to go into that new construction. And I think anybody looking to get into real estate investing is going to really have to consider real estate development and building new houses. And it's really not that hard. It's just understanding the process. And it's 3 core things. How do you evaluate that land? You're going to need a survey. You're going to need a soil test. You're going to need to know what it's zoned for. You also have to know what's the best use for that land. What are you going to build on it? Is it going to be single family? Is it going to be townhouses? And then you have to understand like the cost and how to actually get the money to do the deals.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's kind of like the basic, well, not basic, but what would you say the startup cost to get started and something like that?
Well, it depends on the location and it depends on the price point. Right. Now, let's just say if you're getting a piece of land for $50,000, a lot of times it's better to try to buy that land cash. Now, you got several ways to buy that land. Of course, you can pay cash. Of course, you can raise the money for it. The other option is leveraging business credit to get that land.
I'll touch on that.
You know, so there are a lot of different ways to get that money to do that deal.
Right.
What I like to tell people is that you have to focus on the education component. You have to focus on executing and how you're going to execute. Because if you have a plan, if I came to you and I said, hey man, I have this lot, it's priced at this, I'm going to build this house, it's going to cost X, but when we sell it or we keep it as a rental, here's our projected profit. When you understand how to put everything together, it's a lot easier to raise money. A lot of times, and even for myself, one of the things that I wish I would have did earlier was raising more capital and doing more partnerships. Like it took me a while to get to that point. And I realized I had everything. I had everything in spades with my knowledge. The money is easy when you have the knowledge. Because like when you go around Atlanta and you look at these big subdivisions and these big developments and you think it's one person putting all their money in? No, they're putting together a plan and they're pooling money or doing syndications or they're doing a fund and they're allowing other people to invest in that fund to be able to build or develop that piece of property.
Okay. All right. As far as subcontractors working on you used to maybe do the plumbing, electrical. How do you go about vetting the contractors?
All referrals.
Like, I already know that's a whole other headache.
It is.
There's so many horror stories about that. People running out with the money, people doing half of the work.
So many horror stories.
Just give us one horror story with that.
So, man, I've had, when you learning and you going through it, you're going to take some L's, man. It's a part of the process.
Right.
I remember in my earlier days when I was a realtor for some of my investors, I would go find a plumber. I would go find electricians. Yeah. And my mistake was not properly vetting people, but also not making sure they was licensed, not trying to get referrals, and then taking the cheapest price. Right. I got a house that I renovated. Right. I found this guy at Home Depot. And I can't remember what the price was he gave me, but it was a cheap price. Let's just say he told me $2,000 to wire a whole house. I had got like 4 bids. One guy was like 7, one guy was 8, one guy was 10. And I ended up going with the guy that was $2,000. Bro, do you know when I walked into that house, I flipped the switch, every light in the house cut on. The kitchen cut on, the fan. I went in the bathroom. I went in the master bathroom and turned the switch on. The lights in the bathroom turned on. So you get what you pay for.
What you pay. He's one of those guys standing outside.
Yep. But one way to mitigate your risk with any contractor, especially when it comes to electrical, plumbing, and HVAC, because I'm not an electrician or a plumber. I don't always know what the codes are going to be. You have to hire a third-party inspector. So if you hire an electrician to come wire your house, you can have a third-party inspector come inspect it to make sure everything's up to code before you pay people. Right. Stop paying people up front and get a home inspection or a third-party inspection to validate the work that's been done before you pay people. And that'll keep you from hiring the wrong people or paying people to run off with your money.
Yeah, that's true. That's great advice. There are a lot of people wanting to know that, need to know that. Going back, Kelley, to your start, as far as wholesaling, flipping, just tell us a little bit about how you got started in your, what was your first business, and then we're going to flip on, talk about it.
Okay. So I've been an agent now for over 10 years. I started out in Florida. Okay. I, of course, was down in Tallahassee, Florida. I went to FAMU. And for 3 years, I was like, it got to be a better way, right? And being at Tallahassee has those colleges with Florida State and TCC and FAMU, it's a lot of renting. It was a lot of renting. It wasn't much selling and buying back then. So I seen Gene on Facebook one night. I knew he was with Keller Williams Atlanta Partners. I was with Keller Williams Killearn down in Florida.
Florida.
And I hit him up one night and it was like, yo, I'm thinking about moving to Atlanta to do real estate. If I come that way, can I hang my license with your team? And sure enough, he hit me back and said, yeah, when you want to start? I was like, whenever. He said, can you start tomorrow?
Okay.
It was a Wednesday, bro. I was like, nah, I can't start tomorrow, but I can come tomorrow, move my stuff up over the weekend and start Monday.
Right.
Okay, bet. He sent me that address, and that was almost 8 years ago. So I started down there doing the traditional side of real estate.
Okay.
Realized I really didn't like it. I got into real estate the same reason Gene got in was to work as an investor, to learn this game, to sit on the other side of the closing table. It's one thing to represent a buyer or seller for that 3%, but when you get this 3% and see that investor take home that huge chunk, you kind of want to be over there too. So I eventually did a similar things that Gene did, start project managing with him, working with some of the investors that he had partnered up with from the wholesale company, and continued to grow. So it went from agent to wholesaler to investor, builder / developer now.
Okay.
So
tell us about some of your newest ventures that you're currently working on now. We know you guys are masters of the flip, to buy, and the wholesaling and all of that.
Outside of real estate, and real estate.
Outside of real estate, tell us what you have going now.
I'm really, I have a coffee coming out. I love coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee. I know it's weird, but
why coffee?
I do a show similar to this called Coffee with KP.
Okay.
Well, I just talk with people about, you know, what they do to make money, similar to your podcast.
Okay.
And I've always wanted my own coffee because I love coffee for real. Like I drink a cup a day. I won't overdose or get jittery or nothing like that. But I like the way it makes me calm down in a sense. And there's certain types of coffee that are really meant to do that. They got all these new coffees, mushroom, et cetera, and all that. I'm not really into that because I haven't done enough research on it, but I'm not knocking it.
Okay.
But I do know that coffee is a mega billion-dollar business.
It is.
Right?
It is.
And I always wanted, I was like, to do restaurants and cafes, and I'm like, I go into Starbucks. They the most popular coffee chain in the world, started out of Seattle.
No doubt. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You go in there, ain't nothing but a microwave and some coffee machines.
Yeah.
And 3 or 4 people working.
Right.
And it's one on every exit where we live.
It's very popular.
Like, so I was like, man, it's right. It's you don't see that. You don't see McDonald's like that.
No.
This is the only restaurant.
Probably low overhead.
Super low. You got 4 employees.
Yeah.
All you got is coffee beans
and the brewers
and some pre-made cakes or delicacies that they can eat or whatever. But outside of that, they microwaving your sandwich. They microwaving whatever else. Ain't no cooking going on.
No.
They getting all this frozen.
Right.
So I'm like, McDonald's, at least they got grease and all. They dropping all that. It's a lot to go on. But,
a lot. Yeah.
Man, Starbucks is killing it. So I'm like, I want to be in that industry because I see.
Right. So we got KP's coffee chain coming up soon.
It's different.
Oh, that's I mean, what's your future plans with it?
I mean,
open up a coffee shop.
I want a coffee shop.
You want a coffee shop?
I want multiple coffee shops. I want multiple coffee flavors and not brands, but
some you can package and get it into retail store.
Right. And it's getting trademarked right now, so that's why I ain't gonna say the name till it's done. But I'm really pushing towards that because I know it can really take you to the next level because people drink coffee worldwide. Yeah. People don't eat McDonald's worldwide.
Yeah, it does. We've had another coffee company on the show, Black Coffee Company.
Yeah, down off of
in East
30315.
Yeah.
They've been that zip code. Yeah,
they've been on the show. So if you go back and watch that episode, they dropped a lot of gems about how to start the coffee company.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go there because I ride by it all the time, coming from Atlanta to like Stockbridge, McDonough area.
Yeah, they're one of the largest black-owned chains. So you definitely
I see they actually have a coffee convention out there, Black Coffee.
Yeah, they just had it this past weekend.
Okay, yeah.
They'll definitely stop by their location, and those guys in there definitely give you a lot of startup information. Yeah. They can save you some money. Okay. And help you, see their operation.
Yeah, when I get that trademark, I'm going to go to them because the name of it is so clever, I'll tell you off the air, that people are going to want to.
Right. Because they're doing funding right now, a lot of crowdfunding, and they're getting getting additional funds to go ahead and expand.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
so definitely talk to them brothers.
Most definitely. I tell them you sent me.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, on the podcast. What do you have new? What you working on, Gene? I know you got some up your sleeve. Or tell me a little bit about the development y'all doing for entertainers.
I'm all in with development, man. I tell you, I've tried several things.
Okay.
You know, because I'm an entrepreneur.
I know
at
you
heart.
mentioned trucking.
Yep, I tried trucking. Okay. And, you know, trucking was one of those things where, you know, my dad drove truck. My cousin drove truck. So we tried the trucking, man. I bought a couple trucks. The hardest thing about the trucking was really just finding good drivers, man.
Yeah.
Like it's finding good people. It's a people business. And we just went through some bad drivers, and then fuel was high with the hot shot. So eventually just sold the trucks, man.
Just let it go.
Just let it go because I got so much going on in real estate. Okay. It's just hard to manage both and not being able to find good drivers. Right. But I invested in a marijuana dispensary out in Oklahoma.
That should have been a good business.
Man, it should have been, but it ended up losing some money.
Right.
And you know, I probably jumped in premature without all the information I needed. But it was also, you know how it is, you know, a friend come to you and say, hey man, you know, my friend doing something out in Oklahoma. Right. And, you know, we ended up losing money. But the thing about the Oklahoma thing was that they let everybody do it. And it was just oversaturated. Right. So it is what it is, man. I lost money in crypto. Crypto is a different story. I actually made a lot of money in crypto, and I sold all my stuff before it tanked. Yeah, but the problem was I had all my money still on the platform. It was on Voyager platform. Right. So even though my coins were not in like UDA, ADA, and all these other stuff, I put it in a USDC account, and it was supposed to be federally FDIC secured for up to $250,000. Right, that was a lie. They filed bankruptcy and ended up giving me only 30% of my money back. So I feel like I won because I made the right moves and I made a lot of money, but I lost because the platform filed bankruptcy. Okay, so it is what it is, man. But real estate is always been in me. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we're doing now is more development, and we're really expanding. It's been a lot of one-off properties all over town, from McDonough to Atlanta to Decatur to Monroe to East Atlanta. I've done over 500 properties in Metro Atlanta, from rehabs to flips. Okay. Now it's time to start doing bigger developments. We have a 14-home modern subdivision coming to the city of South Fulton, right off of Enon and Wallace Road. We got 5 mansions in McDonough, getting ready to break ground on the first one of the 5, probably in the next 30 days.
What are going to be the price points for those?
The mansions, they're going to be about 6,000 square feet with pools, all on 2 acres. They're probably going to be priced between 1.3 to 1.5. Okay. The subdivision, we're probably going to be, you know, anywhere from 750 to 850, because some of them will be bigger than others, and some of them will have basements on them. In both projects, Desi, Banks, and Gary Owen are partnering on those projects. So shout out to those guys, you know, just believing in the vision and investing. And we've been rocking with Desi for like 4 years now. Okay. You know, we did some fix and flips together, did a new build in Decatur together. Now the projects that we're doing are getting bigger and bigger. And Desi's really been, you know, a great partner. Yeah. Not only, you know, investing, but also sharing the knowledge and
he does a great job of promoting it.
Yeah, promote and even connecting us with other people, man. Right. So he's been a great guy to work with, man, just on all aspects. Okay. Funny Marco just bought a house from us. The house that Desi helped build, Funny Marco bought it. Okay. He's going to be investing. So it's a good core group of people within our network, man, that's seeing the growth and seeing what we believe in, because real estate has always been one of the biggest wealth builders here in America. Okay. And somewhere down the line, like, our grandparents all used to own their houses, and people just don't see the value in owning houses right now. Okay. You know, and I tell people, like, if you don't get a house in the next few years in Atlanta, you're not going to be able to afford to live in Atlanta. You remember what prices were in Atlanta 10 years ago? Look at prices now. You think prices going to go down?
No,
it might be some dips here and there, but I guarantee you 10 years from now, they crying about rents and prices now.
They crying
wait
about
till 10 years. Wait till after the World Cup come and see what happened. Like the population is not getting any smaller. It was 4.5 million people in 2006 when I moved here. Last report I saw was like 6.5 million people in the metro. The population is not going to grow, going to slow down.
Let me ask you this. What about the tiny homes community? I'm hearing a lot about those. A lot of investors are buying land and putting the tiny homes on them. Is that something you guys looking into?
We haven't done it yet.
Right.
I've seen quite a few of them popping up and stuff like that. But me personally, I haven't done anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Tiny homes, we haven't done it. I see some other people doing container homes.
Yeah.
And they're all their own, like even within like building single family homes, that's a niche within a niche. Okay. Our niche has really been leaning more towards modern.
Right.
We've done like a lot of mid-range modern builds, and now we're doing some high-end modern builds. Okay. We do want to build, I wouldn't say affordable housing, but we do want to figure out how to build houses in that 400 price point that are somewhat luxury. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be 3,000 square feet, but we do want to try to build 12 to 1,500 square feet, with high ceilings, with modern roof lines to give people that sense of pride and that sense of pride of ownership, man, because ownership is key.
Yeah,
that's key, man.
Yeah, definitely is. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
Outside of the academy that we have.
Yeah, let's touch on that. That involve coaching?
Yeah.
Okay.
The academy we have.
How can someone sign up, or how does it work?
The website is buildersacademy.com.
Okay.
And we actually have a boot camp coming up. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to be starting these bus tours monthly. Okay. So to stay in the loop, you can just go to that website, buildingbuilders.com, or follow us on social media. Okay. And what we're currently doing now, we have over about 70, 80 students, and maybe 25% of them are currently building their first new home. The other 25 maybe have built and sold, and the other 50, the final 50 is getting ready to acquire land to start that process. Okay. So we're batting 1,000 right now with our active students.
Okay. What does it cost to get involved in the coaching program, in the builders program?
We have a couple different tiers.
Okay.
We have a monthly membership that's only $29 a month. That's for anyone to get some game, get this information. Right. Then we have, of course, like the workshops and boot camps that we have. Yeah. We have a 2-day boot camp that's around $1,500, but we oftentimes give $500 scholarships to bring it down to $1,000. Right. We have a coaching program. Those prices, like I say, come in tiers depending on how much you need as far as access to us and other information that you may need. But all that is on the website.
Okay. And give them the website one more time.
buildingbuildersacademy.com.
Buildersacademy.com. Anything else you want to add, Gene? Is it
I think like
developments, anything you're working on, or?
Well, the biggest thing with the coaching program, it just kind of happened, man. Like when we started our YouTube channel, we started it just to kind of post what we were doing for content.
Okay.
And we didn't know it was going to turn into a coaching program.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, like, after I've been in this business for so long, how many people don't understand the power of real estate. Like, learning how to build and develop it's not hard. It is work, but it's really a great path to build financial freedom for yourself, learning how to build it, or even just buying and holding your home. If you bought a home before COVID and you still own that home, you still probably have quite a bit of equity in your house. And for the average American, most of the time, their home is going to represent a large portion of their net worth if they've bought right. So with that being said, we had a lot of people reach out to us interested in learning what we do, what we did, and how we was doing it. And then, we decided to do a boot camp in 2022. And since then, we've evolved, and, now we have a whole online platform where we got courses, we got live coaching, we got a lot of different stuff to kind of meet people where they're at. Because everybody comes from a different background, everybody has different experiences and knowledge of real estate. But we're here to just help people build real knowledge and real wealth and understanding the process and the power of real estate.
Okay. One more question. Can you just give them some tips as far as buying their first property, and also give them some tips as far as those that want to be builders and developers, what they should do?
Yeah, absolutely. If you buying a fix and flip or rental property, make sure you get proper due diligence and do a home inspection.
Okay.
Understand what it's going to cost to really renovate that property. A lot of times where new investors get stuck is they have this cookie cutter budget of whatever it might be. And once they get into a project, they start to have all these surprises. You know, if you got a rehab loan on a property, your rehab loan's only, $50,000, but it ended up costing you $80,000, $90,000, you got to come up with the rest of that money to finish that house. Do some research on lenders. If you're new, Google hard money lenders in wherever city you are. There are a lot of lenders that lend just on assets. So for instance, if you're trying to do a fix and flip, there are lenders that will give you up to 90% of the money. So let's just say the house is $100,000, the rehab is $100,000. You can get 90% on a loan. So you can get a loan for $180 and only have to bring $20,000 to the table.
Okay.
And then, of course, pay your carrying cost and pay your closing costs. So for about $30,000, you can get into that project. But understand your numbers, man. Network with the right people. Get you a good realtor that can help you with what that value is going to be afterwards. Okay. Now, if you're looking to get into land, do not buy a piece of land without getting a survey, because every piece of land is not buildable. Okay. And if you have to get a septic tank, make sure you get a soil test, because you may buy a piece of land that has rock or bad soil that won't allow for a septic tank. Now you done bought something that not buildable. You got to turn it into a kickball field or a dog park.
I got you.
So just do your proper due diligence on whatever you're doing, and try to find the experts that can help you, man. Like a good engineer, a good surveyor. Those are all key things. Too many people buying stuff and don't understand all the pieces to it, and they get stuck, or they buy a bad deal and they lose money, and then real estate leaves a sour taste in their mouth.
Okay, I got you. Great advice, man. Great advice. Well, I want to appreciate y'all for taking your time out of your schedule to come to the podcast today.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to hearing big things from you, which I know I will. You all in this real estate construction industry. So in Construction Kings, I love that name, whoever came with the name. So definitely, man, I'm definitely support you. And I want all our viewers and our listeners out there to contact you. I'll give me your contact one more time.
All right, my name on Instagram and Facebook is Kelley, Kelley _Parker. Our team Instagram is the Construction Kings on Instagram, and Gene's Instagram is GENE_Johnson1.
Okay, there you have it. And I want to thank all the streetpreneurs and other aspiring entrepreneurs. I hope you learned something today. We look forward to having you on another episode that's coming up. And we want to thank you all for taking the time out. Please hit that like, subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. Look forward to another great episodes coming up next week. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you.